One. Look at that. So 356 of A to the show, and now we're with Zaki Sleiman. Welcome on the show. You want to tell us a little bit about this news story that you popped in, and now you're in Austrian news, right? All across in a different continent. So how did that happen?
Yeah, look, for me, it was not intended. I did not plan it. I did not knew that about it. It was something very simple that I did, and I always explain in all my interviews that I'm not the superhero. Even though my patients, that's a small gift from my patient. Yeah, they think that I'm a superhero, but in fact I'm not a superhero. So normally I'm a cyclist, I'm a triathlete. So I like to do sports, and many times I used to take my bike to the hospital. But that time, on that day, I had to take the bike to the hospital because I did not have petrol. So for me, I said, okay, I don't have petrol. I don't have the time to go and find, it's the fueling your car is like you're doing an adventure. You're looking for a treasure. Like this. We can talk about it later on. I said, okay, I don't have the time to do this, and I have a delivery. So what do? I just take my bike, which is for me something very simple, very normal. And the distance that I did, for me, it's a very small distance. So I took my bike, I went to the hospital. And what is even funnier about it is that people, they ask me, what was the reaction of the people in the hospital or your patient when they knew that you were coming on the bike? In fact, the reaction was like, Dr. Zaki is coming on the bike. For them, it was normal, because they know me. And my patients, they always say, look, doctor, we are not worried. Even at the time of the revolution, when the roads were closed, they always say, we are not worried. If you don't come with the car, you come on the bike. If you don't come with the bike, you can come even running. So that's what I am. That's what I do. That's how the people know me.
Right.
But what was different at that day is that after I finished my delivery, I thought, how many times in my life I will be in a country where I have to go to take my bike to make a delivery, not because I want to do sports or because there are traffic or because I don't have petrol to go to the hospital. Right. So that's very, very rare. So I said, okay, I will make this capture. I will take this picture. And in my head, I was thinking about our parents when they show us pictures when we were kids. To tell us, look, at that time we were doing this and that. At that time you were like this and I was doing this. I said, why don't I keep this memory for this little boy? Maybe one day after 10, 12, 20, 30 years, the parents or he, at one point, he will see this picture and they will tell him, look, when you were born in a period of time where your doctor had to go to the hospital on the bike because at that time we did not even have petrol. So I took the picture,
right,
and I posted on my private Facebook account because I have a small page that I created when I came back to Beirut to make some advertising for my job, but it's a very modest page. I have like 200 or 300 followers. But on my private Facebook account, it's my own account. So it was not supposed even to go out of my account. Mm-hmm. So I posted the picture, and normally on my Facebook account, when I do, I'm not the blogger and I don't have 33K of followers, organic, unorganic, because now I started to hear.
Becoming a bit of an influencer there now.
Social media. So when I post a very nice, cute, lovely picture, I got I posted the picture and I wrote what I wrote. In fact, it seems that not only the picture attracted the reaction, it seems that what I wrote also attracted the attention of the people.
It's the story.
And
right.
yeah.
It's the story
and then,
of you and everything around it. Yeah.
And then what happened after is that I had to. There is a small group of kids training in Beirut. They call them the Iron Kids. So they are training for triathlon. So they asked me to go there and to give a testimony about the last Ironman I did. So I took my bike. I went there. I was enjoying the talk with the kids. And afterwards, I had to go to my office, which is also like 20 kilometers from the hospital. So I went to the office. I saw some patients, they needed some paper. And then afterwards, I went to the beach because I promised my friend, who is also like 40 kilometers away. I went to the beach with him. We had dinner, we had lunch together. And in the evening, we had dinner at his place and I came back. So the whole trip was even more than the trip that the normal media know. From my place to the hospital, round trip, 24 kilometers. In fact, at that day, I did like 80 kilometers.
Wow.
And so far, I did not even know what's going on the social media.
Right.
I came back.
All the media hype was generating while you were just cycling and having a regular day.
So I came back.
Mm-hmm.
I opened my phone, and I saw like 500 or 600 notification on Facebook. I said maybe sometimes Facebook when they change the application, they do weird stuff, you know. I said okay, I will not even open it. So I was having my dinner, and then I started receiving calls from friends telling me that Zaki, your picture is going viral on the social media. So I got the first call, and then the second call, and then the third call, and then I started to have phones from websites, and then I got the call from An-Nahar, which is the famous journal in Lebanon. So they asked me some question, and they took my permission to make the scoop, and then it went viral on the social media and the journals and everywhere. And I tell you even a funnier story that for me it was okay. That's it. I posted a nice picture on Facebook. People, they liked it. It went viral. So also I did not know what is viral because, you know, I'm a doctor. It's viral or bacterial. Viral, okay, it went viral. Okay, so it's okay. It's nice. It seems that my Facebook account now, I will have 5,000 friends. It will be full. So I woke up in the morning. I saw also some notification, but you know, Sunday for me, for the training that I do, is the long distance training. So I had a swim with a group. We had to do like 4 kilometers in the beach, and then I said afterwards I do some cycling. So I shut off my phone. I went to the swim. I did my swim. After the swim, I took my bike. I was biking, and after the bike, I opened my phone, and there was the catastrophe. Because on my text messages, I found like 100 of missed calls, and one of them, it was the director of the hospital. And then I said, "Oh my God, أكلنا الضرب."
Yep.
Because, you know, when I took the picture, I thought that maybe I will have a call from the hospital to say, how did you take the picture in the nursery with this kind of clothes, without a mask, in the Corona time? But I'm a smart guy, I'm not stupid. So when I took the picture, I was sure that nobody can know that I'm in the nursery. So if you see the background, you can never know that I'm in the nursery. And
it's just the wall, yeah.
Yeah, not a single person can know that I was in my hospital. You know, because I go to many hospitals in town and I did not check in. So this can be any place in the world.
Yeah.
So nobody is tagged in my picture. And the director of the hospital already saw me many times in my cycling clothes coming to the hospital. So I was, preparing already my speech. What did you do yesterday?
Yeah.
So I call back. My heart is like 130, 140. And then he said, good morning. I said, good morning, Mr. Rizq. And then he said, Zaki, congratulations for what you did. Mm-hmm. What? Congratulations for what you did. Please open your phone. Everyone is calling us. They want to interview you. Please go make the interview. Tell everyone about the situation. Tell them that you're struggling to get petrol. Tell them that the whole team is struggling to get petrol. And then since that Sunday, I mean in the afternoon until yesterday night, I'm live on the TVs, on the websites. I'm everywhere. And funny thing, today in the morning I had a lecture with my students. I told them, look guys, I'm an Ironman. I'm a doctor. I'm an Ironman, and I'm a consultant for the biggest manufacturing company in Germany for kind of instruments and surgeries. And I'm very young, and I'm one of the youngest, and I travel all over the world to teach the other doctors how to make these surgeries. All these with 14 years of studying and 6 years of practicing, it did not get me 1% of what I got on one simple picture that I posted on Facebook.
Yep, that's going viral for you, right? How's your experience been so far? So you've had a lot of interviews so far, and are you enjoying this different side of it, or do you just want to go back to work?
Look, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice to feel that you're that famous. You're important to this big amount of people, and I already experienced this because in my life, in my personal life, in my job, what makes me feel happy is this reward that I got when I have positive feedback from my patient. It was like I was already the superhero for a small circle of people, and then in one day I became a superhero for the world.
All right, yeah, and like an actual inspiration, because like people look at that and they say, oh, even though he couldn't keep driving, he rode his bike. What was it like for you when you were riding your bike? You were like, okay, my car, I can't drive it. I got a bike all the way to the hospital. Were you like stressed out about it? Were you calm? Is it just like, were you physically tired from all that biking? What was your experience?
When you texted me, you asked about we can talk a little bit about the competitions and the Ironman. Right. The Ironman is the toughest one-day sportive event that a human being can do, because there are some sportive events for more than 1 day. So in the Ironman, we swim 3.8 kilometers, which is around 1 hour, a little bit more. We do 180 kilometers afterwards, which is around between 5 and 6 hours of cycling, depending on the course. And then after the bike, we do a full marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers of running.
Wow. Wow.
It's a race that stays for a mean of 10 to 12 hours non-stop. So asking about my physical performance doing from my house to the hospital 12 kilometers, I was not even thinking, if my bike can speak, okay? At that day, she would have told me, look, Zaki, are you serious? Are you taking me out for a trip of 12 kilometers? Respect me. So for me, it was not like a long distance, like I was struggling to arrive. For me, it's just a small fun tour that I'm doing, and I can tell you, sometimes during the revolution time, I used to go even running to the hospital. I mean, doing 12K running, not a big. For me, it's not a big deal. But again, it seems what we people think that some stuff are normal for us, obvious for us, very simple for us. For the crowd, that's not normal. That's not just something very simple.
Right. So, it's something definitely above average. That's for sure. I mean, doing Ironmans, like completing 180 kilometers a day, and then doing 42 kilometers of running after that. I wouldn't say that's something an average person would do, and that they're used to. That's definitely something that you've gotten, accustomed to, and it's a pretty it's an amazing feat for someone to be able to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I did not think about anything. I said, okay, I just take my bike, I go to the hospital. That's it. As simple as that.
All right.
I wanted to ask about the coverage that the hospital now is getting. Like, since you mentioned the director also talked to you about it, and like how beneficial has this been for you guys, for the doctors and for the hospital? Has it been helping in any way, or is it supporting the medical community? Because I feel like you guys haven't been appreciated properly in these times.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that the story. I mean, I posted the picture on Saturday. The booming and the media, the whole media in Lebanon, the big channels like LBC, MTV, New TV went in the evening. On Monday, we received an email. The whole staff for the LAUMC, we received an email that whoever needs petrol, he can sign in. They provided a big amount of petrol for the hospital and the team of the hospital. I don't know who provided this, how they provided this, but this happened only after the story, after my viral story.
Yeah, it's crazy how social media can just like change the situation for you guys. Like just one picture can change the whole, like how you guys are living your life right now.
Yeah, but this was just a small solution, like a one-day solution. That's not a solution for the country.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's an even harder topic. But you can start off. I'm curious to know about how did you get so fit and healthy, and tell us about how did you even start doing an Ironman? I mean, like how did you first come upon it? And it's because it's a huge feat. So how do you get there the first time?
Yeah, I come from a small village in my country, somewhere in the north. I've been in the school of the village for my first 18 years of my life. So I was in a place where you don't have a lot to do. So I used to run. I used to play with the kids in front of the house, and I always liked to do sports. But opportunities in general in Lebanon for sports are not so big. And when I was in the high school, when I finished the high school, I was telling my parents that, look, I want to do something related to sports because I like sports. And I remember that my uncle used to do some bodybuilding, and I always wanted to be the champion of the world in the bodybuilding because he was like my idol. But in my village, every 2-3 years, you have a very intelligent boy, or normally a boy, in the high school with very high grades, and this one is the doctor. Right. So you should, like, from the age of 15, I was supposed to be the doctor of this period of time, So when I finished the high school, I said, look, I want to do sports. They said, no, but how can you do something related to sports? You are the doctor of the of this era. You are the doctor of this period of time. You have to be a doctor. And then I went to Beirut. I applied for the medical school, and this was it. But now when I think about it, it's like, I had this kind of motivation, this power in my brain, in my heart, in my soul, that I want to go far. But I did not know how, because I did not have the tools, I was not in a very important high school. I come from a very modest family. My parents does not even speak French or English properly. So I did not have the tools to go too far. But then this is just to tell you about a little bit about the background.
Right.
I did my medical school. I finished my medical school, and then when I finished my residency, they told me in my hospital, look, there is a fellowship in Belgium and in Germany, and that's very important fellowship. You have to go. You have to apply there. And then I told them, look, guys, I come from Lebanon. The whole world is applying for this fellowship, and they will take only one. They don't even hear about it. They don't know where is Lebanon. Why they would take me? They say, just apply. And then the funny thing, I applied, and out of the whole people in the whole world who applied for this fellowship, I took the fellowship. Don't ask me how.
What? Dr. Zaki. I mean, that's just one of those things where, I mean, if you didn't apply, you would just have never gone in, and you tried and it worked out, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, exactly. It's like the nothing to lose mentality. Just go for it. Take the risk.
And go for it without the proper tools, because I even remember at that time, I was not even able to speak like 10 minutes in English. And the fellowship was, I should talk in English because I studied in a French school. So I studied in a French university, and I did not have the real tools. So this is the story of like having the motivation and just jumping in whatever. And you can reach, even though you think that you don't have the possibility, that you're not the right person to do it, but still when you jump into something, you can reach. But you have to jump. You have to throw your darts. So when I came back to Beirut, in Beirut you have to make to apply for the وزارة الصحة وضمان to make the equivalence for your papers, and that took me like 6 months. And during that time, I could not do anything because I cannot apply for a hospital. I cannot open an office. I can do nothing. I need my papers first. And I had a small mountain bike. So I used to take my bike and do small tours around in the city just to spend time. And one day I posted a picture on Facebook for me with the bike. This picture was seen by some friends in Belgium. And they told me, Zaki, we need a favor because you're doing cycling and we need a favor from you. I said, yeah, what do you need? They said there is a cycling marathon in Austria every year in a region called Sölden in the Alps. And it's a very tough marathon. And every cyclist, that's the dream of every cyclist, to go there and to do this marathon. And they have kind of quota for every country. So they take a limited number of participants from every country. And from Belgium, not everyone is able to get a slot for the race. Why don't you sign in? And they have a rule that few days before the race, when somebody decided to not to participate, he can give his slots to someone else. So if you apply from Lebanon, they will take you because nobody will apply from Lebanon. You give us the slot. He said, okay, guys, I will do this. And I applied. They took me. And then one day, it was not too far from the application. I woke up in the morning. I said, why don't I go and do the race? I'm talking about 240 kilometers.
Oh my God.
I'm talking about 4 mountains in the Alps. I'm talking about a positive elevation of 5,500 meters.
But you were fit and you like sports, so you did have some experience.
I did not have experience in cycling. And I decided to start training. And I don't have a coach. I don't have a road bike. I don't have experience in cycling. So how do I do to climb 5,500 meters? In Beirut, we have a lot of mountains. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I start climbing. I take my bike. I do a small mountain. And then later on, I do a little bit more. And I do a little bit more. And I trained for 6 months. And I went to the race and I finished the race. So this was my first cycling event, and I don't know if there are some cyclists hearing us now, but I can tell you a funny story that happened to me, because this was the first time I always trained on a mountain bike. So first time I had a road bike. I rented the road bike in Austria, and I wanted to make the fitting, because everyone was talking about the fitting of the bike and the size of the bike, and I said, okay, how do I do the fitting of my bike? So a friend of mine, who is like 160 centimeters, like 20 centimeters shorter than me, is a very good cyclist. I said, since he is a very good cyclist, it seems that the fitting of his bike is very good. So I took the size of his bike, I made the fitting like his bike, and I went to do the race, which is, with 20 centimeters of difference of length. So the position of the bike was totally wrong for me. And after
must have been a very uncomfortable ride as well.
Uncomfortable. I had cramp in my muscles. I was suffering the whole race, but I never stopped. I finished. I went to the end and I finished the race.
Wow.
That's like the description of a very ambitious person who doesn't quit on his opportunities. Like, you're just taking the opportunities that are coming to you, and you're not backing down from them. That's
exactly.
that's like the mentality of someone who would say, I'm built different.
And then afterwards, since you asked about the Ironman, so one of my friends told me, look, Zaki, you have a very nice endurance. You have to do Ironman. I said, huh? What is Ironman? Then I went Googling, and I said, how can a human being do an Ironman? That's too much, man. How can you run a full marathon after 180 kilometers of cycling? I said, that's it. I know someone in Canada, he did it. You can talk to him. And then I said, okay, I will do Ironman. And I signed in for an Ironman, and I started training, and that's the story of this.
I got your first Ironman. Wow. I mean, you're motivating me a lot right now. First of all, your friend said that you just have endurance. Do you think it's just something that you specifically have endurance, or do you think many more people can become like you, like an ultra runner or a huge cyclist or a triathlon athlete? Because is it your motivation? Is it your physical skill? How did you get this far? We want to learn.
I think I always say that the athleticism and the endurance is the sports of the stupid people, because this does not require any skill. I mean, the people who does not have any skill, they go running or they go cycling, because football, you have to have skills. Even if you train your whole life, you cannot be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right.
Okay. Tennis, even if you play your whole life, you cannot be Nadal. So that's not about skills. It's like the more you do, the better you become, and the earlier you start in your life, the better you become. So no, this is not about skills. Endurance is just about training and willing to do something which is most of the time boring for a long period of time.
Right. And tiring, right? I mean, don't you get tired? Yeah. How do you get past it? Yeah.
It's kind of mental training, because at one point, that's the difference between the short distance and the long distances. At one point, your body is very tired, and it's only your brain who's telling you, no, you can do it. Do one step further. So that's what I like about it. Is you're challenging yourself, you're pushing yourself over the limit. You don't need to be fast, I mean, to be an Ironman, you can be with the professional finishing between 8 and 9 hours. You can be like me, I'm a medium level, finishing around between 10 and 11 hours, but you can still be an Ironman and finish in 16 hours. So it's like competing your own self, exceeding your own limit. That's what I like about it. No, it's not about skills. It's only about the will to train, the will to go further, and the will to say, what is the limit? I can go over this limit.
Wow. And I mean, you had a lot of limits, just growing up, just, coming from a small village. You can maybe speak English, but look at you now, you're doing a whole podcast in English, right? I mean, the whole ultra running thing, you becoming a doctor. You know, right now we're in a world where there's a lot of no's and there's a lot of limits out there. When you see like a problem, how do you know it's something that you can like get past, or yeah, how do you motivate yourself past all these limits? Is it like you're blind running in? Are you just motivated, or do you have like strategy and plan for all this? Yeah.
I don't think I had enough tools or education to make strategies, and I never took a course about strategies, or like I was coached by someone, or I was guided by someone. It was, I think, the most important factor was I was not afraid. Said, okay, what do I lose? What do I lose? If it does not work, it does not work. But I have to jump into it. I have to go for it. And I think sometimes when you focus on something, they say like fake it until you make it, and make it until you commit. It's like this. So I give you another example. When you want to buy a new car, okay, let's say you have a Peugeot, okay, and now you want to buy a Toyota hybrid Toyota. I don't know. I don't understand in cars. EX whatever. Okay, so when you're driving to Peugeot on the street, you never saw a Toyota like this. But when you decide that you want to buy this Toyota, when you're on the street, you will see the Toyota. This is one. This is one. This is one. So in fact, when you put something in front of you and you say, okay, I will be there one time, you start seeing stuff around, and they exist. They existed since ever, but you did not see them before. You did not use to grab them. You did not use to catch them. So when you have a goal, you start seeing these small stuff, and then you pick them up. You pick them up, and then at one point you will arrive, because this is what you're seeing. This is what you want. What you want to be.
Ali, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this like positive reinforcement, or yeah?
Positive. I mean, it's so yeah, because like I don't know how you describe it. So you described it as I get exactly what you're saying, because I have a Honda Civic, and since I got my car, all I see are Honda Civics. So, but so you start seeing signs, not when you, what were some of the signs you saw that maybe if you thought differently you didn't like see? Can you give us an example in your life, Dr. Zaki? Yeah, as opposed to Toyotas.
Yeah, look, for example, I tell you about something. If now we think about this story, now we're talking. It's more about, now we're talking philosophy. You know? Now the life coaches, you know, and the organic people. They will like my thought now. If I look back, so I finished my fellowship, I came back to Beirut, and when I came back to Beirut, I started this story of cycling. Okay, for me, being famous, or being, I would not say famous, because that was not possible for me. I mean, how can I be famous? I can be known. I can be well known in my community because I do nice, very special type of surgeries. And if you go through my Facebook account, you will see me teaching people all over the region, in the Middle East, in Africa. So like, I am known in my field, in what I do, but I never thought I would be famous. So I started cycling, okay? And I always posted some pictures about me cycling since 6 years. In fact, I started my job before 6 years, at the same time where I started cycling. And now, after 6 years, the whole fame that I took, okay, it was, I don't know if it was intended or not, but at one point, the bicycle what was going with me during these 6 years. And look, it's only because of the bicycle that I got that famous. I got really famous. Now I'm famous.
Right.
So if at that time I wouldn't take the bike, making the bike, I wouldn't, if I wouldn't have said, yes, for my friends, I will sign in for this cycling marathon. I wouldn't have done the marathon. I wouldn't have jumped into an Ironman competition. I mean, this whole succession of small events that I was seeing that led me to take the bike for 12 kilometers to go and make a delivery. We wouldn't have been together today making the speech at all. So that's one
that's
thing.
philosophical. Yeah, that's deep.
So Dr. Zaki, you sound like you believe in destiny then.
I believe in food and sports. That's it. I'm a very basic person, and I just enjoy the simple things in life. So
It's like one more thing. So when you're running, you said it's boring. How do you get over the boredom of running or doing it? Like, we're in the very busy world. I'm sure you're very busy. We're all very busy all the time. How do you run for 6 hours without checking your social media posts? That's do you get bored when running? Yeah.
I don't know if I can, because now since 1 week I'm on my phone, I'm on the social media, just trying to reply to all the text messages and everything. So I don't know if now I can do it without checking. But normally, before the fame story, when I have like 4 hours of training or 3 hours of training, what I do in my mind, first I use the music. So I listen to my favorite music. Second, I don't say I have 3 hours of training. I say I have to go for 1 hour. Okay, and then I see what will happen. Okay, it's like this. Just apply to the exam of the fellowship, and then we see what will happen. And this hour, I don't think that I have to finish the hour. I say 1 hour is not 1 hour. 1 hour is only 15 minutes times 4. So I do the first 15 minutes. It's done. Okay, another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, and then 1 hour is done. Now we start the second hour, which is also not 1 hour. It's only 15 minutes. So again, it's like this.
Right. Wow. Well, I learned a lot, Saeed.
Yeah, that's a smart way of basically making it your plans into steps. Because like I've heard this strategy before where you divide so you have like a big goal in front of you, then you divide it into smaller steps so that it become easier to process in your head. Because obviously if you say 5 hours in your head or 3 hours, you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be so hectic, I'm not in the mood. But then you divide it into 1 hour, then you divide the 1 hour into 15 minutes, you just get into a flow. And you just start, just keeps the wheels keep turning, and exactly. You just you get addicted to it, and the energy and the feeling that you have when you're just completing the first 15 minutes and the second 15 minutes, you just don't want it to stop. So yeah, that's a very interesting way of like cutting it down.
Have you ever tried to do like longer distance running, like ultra distance running for like more than? I want to know what are your limits? Yeah,
I don't know. So far, I'm more into Ironman distance.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I have done half Ironman once, and I have completed 3 full Ironman so far. Last one was 2-3 weeks ago in Switzerland.
Nice.
And I think for the next 2-3 years, I will still go for an Ironman distance, because when I celebrate my 40 years old, now I'm 37, I would like to do the Ironman of Norway, which is called the Norseman, which is the same distance of Ironman, but with the difference that the water is too cold. The cycling only going up, and even the marathon, the major part of the marathon is going up, and only first 60 athletes arriving to the last 10K of the marathon are allowed to continue.
Oh, okay. So on that point, you said that you usually finish around 10 to 11 hours your marathons. How do you plan on like your Ironman? Sorry. How do you plan on like breaking that record? How do you plan on pushing yourself to reach a new limit?
It's about training. I'm just training more. Training is not easy. It's very difficult, especially for someone like me, because I started the proper athleticism in my life when I was 34 years old. So my body was not used to this. You see, you still have a chance. I don't know how. But if I started at 34, anyone can do what I did. So the problem is that our body is not used to this amount of torture, I would say. And the problem is that you cannot push too much because you risk injuries. So you have to go very slowly, and I accept this. So I'm not training to be the champion of the world, because not anymore in this life. Maybe in another life, when I'm back to this small village, and they tell me, look, you are the doctor. I said, no, I'm the athlete. Maybe I would compete for the championship of the world. But now it's behind me. I'm doing this. I'm not competing anyone. I'm just competing myself. I just want to be better. I'm just fighting the aging philosophy. I always say, it's not like when you grow up, you're getting slower and you're getting more tired. That's not true. For me, the human being body is like a band. You can adapt it as you want. For me, as long as I'm training, I will improve. But there is a very thin threshold where you can push without making an injury. So that's what I'm doing now.
And what's like a motivational quote or a sentence you would say to people who, haven't started yet, or they say that they're too old to start, and like what would you tell them to get them to start, and to tell them basically it's never too late to try?
It's never too late to try.
Let's go! Motivation. Let's go. It's true. I mean, if this whole podcast does not motivate you, I don't know what would. I feel extra motivated. I need to go running right now. It is never too late to try. Honestly. Dr. Zaki, we are out of time. But really appreciate it. This time flew. 15 minutes. Here we are. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Zaki, for coming on the show. Saeed, it's been awesome. I can't wait to follow your stories and your next Ironman and the big race. Good luck.
The big Norseman. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Signing out. Peace.
Ciao.